It is the 8th day of May 2024. I hope you've had a fruitful day today. Now tonight, for the first time on the Dialogue, you'll host a true icon of Kenya's second liberation, that is Reverend Timothy Njoya, as we discuss on matters state of the nation. A very good evening to you and welcome to Hope TV Newswatch. My name is Ken Kimani and my co-presenter on the Sign Language interpretation tonight is Boniface Morethi. Now, the much-awaited 2023 KCSE results are officially released today by the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu at Moi Girls High School in Eldoret. While announcing the results, CS Machogu noted that a total of 201,133 obtained the minimum university entry points. The CS, however, regretted that 48,174 scored a mean grade of E. Alice Diana begins our bulletin with the following report.
899,453 candidates who sat for their Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE in 2023 finally received their results today. Of the candidates, 450,554 were male, while 448,899 were female, representing 50.09% and 49.91% of the total candidates respectively. According to the results released by Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, 1,216 candidates managed to score an A grade compared to 1,146 in 2022. Machogu added that the number of candidates who attained C+ and above, which is the minimum university entry qualification, were 201,133 students. This was also an improvement from 2022, which saw 173,345 attain the same grade.
The national schools produced the highest number of candidates with an overall mean grade of A, where we had 889 A's from national schools, which was 2.486%, followed by county schools, 172 A's, which was 0.096%. Private schools, we had 143, which was 0.221%. County schools, we had 5, which was 0.004%. And the sub-county, and I would like to give a membership this, these are day schools, which had 7 A's, and which was 0.001%.
Those candidates who scored D+ and above were 526,222 compared to 522,588 in 2022. CS Machogu, however, expressed concern over the huge number of candidates who scored grade E at 48,174, to which he called for an immediate probe to ascertain the unsettling numbers.
I therefore directed the Directorate of Quality Assurance to work with the field officers and teachers to investigate these E-grade cases in each county of the country and submit a report to me within 1 month for further action.
Further, a total of 4,113 candidates were reported to have been involved in exam irregularities.
We have cancelled results of 4 cases of reported impersonation after completing investigations. The results of the remaining 4,190 candidates who were suspected to have engaged in examination irregularities have also been withheld pending the completion of investigations in their cases within a period of 20 days from today.
The Education CS also noted that the cohort of 2,000 pupils who did not sit for their KCPE last year will nonetheless be admitted to Form 1 on January 15th alongside those who sat the exam. Meanwhile, President William Ruto has ordered an investigation into cases of 3,143 students who registered for last year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE examinations but failed to sit for the same. The head of state gave the directive while receiving a brief by Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu. Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Alice, for that report. The Teacher Service Commission is set to employ 20,000 teachers and promote over 36,000 teachers during this financial year. According to the Commission, the additional one class in the junior secondary school has created a staffing shortage of 42,117. TSC has, however, noted that the teacher requirement for primary schools has reduced due to the reduction of classes, consequently leading to an excess of 18,194 teachers. The Commission has, however, affirmed that it will redistribute the teachers to ensure that all the institutions have a balanced teacher-to-student ratio.
I had an exceptional engagement with His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, as a prelude to this event, during which I will be releasing the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examination results. Our lengthy conversation also attended by my senior education sector leaders who are together with me here, focused on the broad, deliberate and robust reforms that our country is so able rolling out in the face of a challenging economic environment. One of the discussions was on teacher employment, and my chairman is here. His Excellency made it clear that in the next financial year, we will again be employing another 20,000 more teachers.
Now, still matters KCSE, and despite several challenges affecting counties bordering the Kerio Valley region, such as insecurity, low school turnout, and a drought, schools in West Pokot County posted impressive results in the just released Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education results. Among the top schools are Chowoyet National School, the Kapenguria School, and Nasokol Girls.
Military Otieno, the President, Chowoyet National School. Today is a day of celebration in our school. We are enjoying a result of discipline, God-fearing, and the great determination of our former Form 4, enabling us to have a mean score of 8.7. It's a dream come true. We just want to say that it has been a great result from their discipline and their great determination. I want to wish them well wherever they are.
Performance, we want to thank God kwa sababu ya performance ambayo ametupatia. When we compare it with last year's performance, this year we have scored a mean of 8.7, which is a B plus against 8.3 of last year. That's a positive deviation of 0.4. Tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu na tunashukuru wahisani wote. Tukianza na our dear teachers, our dear principal, our board of management, our parents, the county government, and the government in general for supporting us.
A family from Chemondi village in Bungoma County has called for financial support from well-wishers to enable their daughter to join Form 1 as the 2023 KCP candidates are set to join secondary schools from the 15th of this month. Christine Nanjala, the mother to Melvin Chebet, who scored 386 marks in the KCP exam, has expressed fear that her daughter may not be able to join Cheptiret Girls School this year due to the economic situation at home. Our reporter, Grace Ahati, with more details.
As the last cohort of KCPE candidates under the 844 system prepares to join Form 1 from January 15th, a family in Mount Elgon constituency, Bungoma County, has expressed concerns about their daughter, Melvin Chebet's ability to continue her studies. Christine Nanjala, the mother of Melvin Chebet, has highlighted the economic difficulties she is facing as a single mother of 6 children, appealing for support to enable her daughter to pursue her education.
Kufikia sasa sina uwezo kumpeleka shule na mtoto na ndoto ya kusoma, na ninaomba yeyote aliye tayari anisaidie ili mtoto aendelee kutimiza ndoto yake. Na huyu mtoto aliitwa Cheptiret Girls, na kwa upande wa kifedha sina penye ninaweza kutoa nikaweza kumlipia school fees, ambapo ukulima ambaye ninafanya hainipei mapato ya kuwezesha kumlipia school fees.
On her part, Melvin Chebet, who scored 386 marks in the 2023 KCPE exam at Chemondi Primary School, has also expressed fears that her dream of becoming a surgeon may be hindered if she lacks financial assistance for her secondary school education.
Nataka kuwa surgeon. Tena nikikuja kufaulu, nitaweza kusaidia wazazi wangu siku za mbeleni. Sasa naomba watu nisaidie na niweze kusoma, pia niweze kusoma, alafu pia nitasoma kwa bidii na hadi nitasoma kwa bidii.
Confirming the family's inability to meet Chebet's educational needs, Chemondi Sub-Ward Assistant Chief Martin Naibei has also called upon parents to ensure that their children resume their studies despite the economic challenges they are currently facing.
So kulingana na mimi kama kiongozi, wito wangu ni kwamba yule yeyote ambaye ameguzwa na matamshi ya huyu msichana aingilie kati ili atimize ndoto yake. Tujuago ni kwamba serikali inahimiza 100% transition. So ninawahisi wazazi wote, shule zimefunguliwa, wanafunzi wote wapatikane shuleni. Licha ya kwamba kuna changamoto zile, lakini wazazi tujukumike, tuone kwamba watoto wanapata malezi mema, wapata masomo ambayo yatakuja kuwasaidia baadaye.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Away from that, and President William Ruto has asked leaders across the political divide to support his plans to make Kenya food secure, create jobs and provide universal health care to all Kenyans. Speaking today at Kamagut Primary School in Uasin Gishu County, where he laid the foundation stone ahead of the construction work for junior and secondary schools, the head of state said unless the government takes difficult decisions, the transformation of the country will not be realized. At the same time, President Ruto also asked the judiciary to be mindful of the welfare of Kenyans without jobs and those who have no access to healthcare.
I will do whatever is possible to make sure that we achieve the delayed transformation of Kenya. It is a moment in history that we must make that decision, break away from our past and move into the future. So, mimi nawauliza viongozi wote. Mimi nimesema sina vita na mtu yeyote. Hakuna vita na mashindano kati ya mahakama, serikali ya executive ama ile ya bunge. Lakini tuko na wajibu moja, kuhakikisha kwamba tunazalisha chakula, tuondoe aibu ya njaa, kuhakikisha kwamba ajira ya vijana wetu inapatikana bila vizuizi, na kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wanapata matibabu na Mkenya asiuze mali yake tena. Kila Mkenya awe na bima ya afya, either analipa ama analipiwa na serikali ya Kenya, ndio tuweze kupeleka taifa letu la Kenya mbele. Those are not negotiable. Hiyo hakuna mjadala, hapo hakuna mashindano. Hapo tutapeleka Kenya mbele. Because it's good for everybody and it's good for Kenya.
The three suspects connected to the murder of Meru blogger Daniel Muthiani, also known as Sniper, will be detained for 21 days as police conclude the investigations. This is after the Kibera Senior Principal Magistrate William Lopokoyot granted the orders filed under miscellaneous application by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The three suspects, namely Boniface Githinji Njehia, alias DJ Kaboom, Brian Mwenda, alias Brayo, and Grace Kadhambi Githinji, will be detained in Gigiri Police Station to enable DCI to conclude the investigations. Sniper is said to have disappeared on the 2nd of December last year, and his badly mutilated body was found 2 weeks later. Now crossing borders now, and at least 5 police officers have been killed and nearly 24 others wounded after an explosive device targeted their vehicle during a polio vaccination drive in northwestern Pakistan. The blast took place on Monday morning in Bajaur when Pakistan began its latest round of the vaccination campaign. Now, in recent years, the Pakistan Taliban, also known by the acronym TTP, has killed dozens of polio vaccination workers and security officials in Pakistan. Resistance to the polio immunization drive grew in Pakistan after the CIA, which is the intelligence agency of the United States, organized a fake vaccination drive to track Osama bin Laden, who was killed in the Pakistani garrison town of Abbottabad in 2011. Religious leaders in the Pakistan-Afghanistan border region also spread misinformation that the vaccine contained traces of pork and alcohol, which are forbidden in Islam. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only two countries yet to be declared free of the world poliovirus type 1 disease. And to some business news now, and Kenya has targeted the $2 trillion African-American tourism market. The initiative, dubbed Call to Action, is an ingenious plan by Traverse Culture founder and Chief Executive Officer Kea Wakesho Simmons from Charleston, South Carolina. The plan seeks to reconnect African Americans with their African cultural heritage through various immersion like naming ceremonies and cultural adaptation. It targets to bring 3,000 to 5,000 visitors in 2024 to tour Kenya, invest and settle in a new city dubbed Getu Freedom Estate in Thika, Kiambu County under the auspices of the Journey Back to Eden.
We had the great opportunity to be given access to 164 acres of land at Thika. From Mzee Gitu, the chairman of the Freedom Fighters, the Mau Mau Freedom Fighters. And so what we're looking to do is build the first ever estate here in Kenya where African Americans or Africans of the diaspora and our Kenyan counterparts live side by side in one community, the first ever in East and Central Africa. The first thing that most African Americans are interested in is real estate. Right? Everybody want, when they're moving or relocating or looking at opportunities, and want to have the option of ownership. And because your beautiful country have so much land and opportunities, that will be the first thing that we'll be looking at in terms of investment opportunities. But we'll also be looking at our agriculture, tourism, entertainment, healthcare, education, and so on and so forth as we expand this initiative. This will impact the economy, of course, as we know. We project it to be a $30 million project, as well as give opportunities for local Kenyans to be employed, also live side by side so that we can connect with the information that we're bringing to the table. But what it does for us is create ownership.
I think the opportunities for manufacturing will bring a lot of jobs, and it will make a lot of business sense for me to move my company here as an extension. The one thing that I would ask, if possible, is to do something about the import-export taxes, because getting materials out of Kenya and selling it in other markets will be difficult, but there is enough market here to make business sense for me to bring my practice here and sell locally also.
And to some sporting action now, AFC Leopards registered their third win of the season by narrowly edging out Ulinzi Stars 1-0 in an FKF Premier League match played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Musa Ongo's 12-minute goal was enough to hand Ingwe maximum points and a rare win as Thomas Trucha seeks to turn around the Leopards' sinking ship. The win lifted Leopards to 12th in the standings with 18 points as Ulinzi Stars dropped to 15th with 17 points. Now, Jurgen Klopp side sealed their spot in the fourth round of the FA Cup with a 2-0 win over Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners had numerous chances to open the scoring, but it was Liverpool who just did that late on in the second half. Klopp side have won 4 of the last 5 matches across all competitions, whereas Arsenal are experiencing much worse form. The Gunners, who missed multiple chances, have lost the last 3 matches and have just one win from their previous 7 games. Well, with that, to come to the end of the first part of this bulletin, but immediately after the break, we go straight into the dialogue. Okay, stick around.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cynthia.
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even which of the what?
I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live. In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
So this parent calls me, after service and says, "Young man, you do not know what you've done," because tells me that my son comes and tells me that, "Dad, I have also been struggling with ABCD." His was a mix of alcohol and pornography. And just hearing Justo on Route 104, a fellow young person like me, give his testimony on how God has moved in his life. And I requested to meet the young man, and we met over coffee, became good friends. And I told him as well, listen, by me sharing does not mean, because the devil puts banana peels all over. Scripture tells us that, no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. It doesn't say that weapons will not be fashioned. No, it says no weapon. It means weapons will be fashioned. And he will put traps all over. Right from your phone. You open Instagram, you see an image. And all of a sudden, it plays back. All those things. So that's another, because the battle is in the mind. That is why Paul says in Romans 12:1, not be conformed by the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of the mind. He knows it's here. The devil knows. And this guy is millions of years old. He's not our age mate. For those who remember when I used to tell like that, he's not your age mate. Stop saying at me, I know at I've been saved for 15 years. Dude, the devil has been in existence for millions of years. So guess what? He knows everything about you. Okay? But greater is he that is in you. We walked together, and I'm happy to say that he found his deliverance. And he became also a peer champion, as it is, an educator. And for me, those are some of the things that, wow, without Hope FM, really the platform of Hope FM, and as Reverend Tomboy used to tell us as well, this is a platform not for you, but God is using you. The initiative Friends of Hope is more or less like what Romans 10:17 says, that faith comes only by the hearing, and hearing through the word of God. But how will they hear if somebody does not go to tell them? Think about that Muslim brother or sister who, because of you being a friend of hope and supporting with your 100 bob or whatever it is, that in Friday evening, by chance, they listen to Yesu Ndiye Njia. And then because of you supporting and being a friend of hope, the message will reach them in Zanzibar, in Mombasa, in whatever it is. Mimi ni rafiki mso, I'm a friend of hope. I'm just as a worker. I would like for you pia ukwe rafiki mso.
Just at the moment, many of those who believe in Jesus are feeling what I call the big squeeze. It feels like the militant forces in society that oppose the gospel have mobilised like never before. Hi, I'm Bernie Diamond, and welcome again to Fresh. Have you been feeling that too? And honestly, as we see governments enacting legislation to limit religious freedoms, as we see those militant forces of evil becoming more and more vocal, more aggressive in jamming, in shutting down the Christian voice, it can feel as though they're winning. There's this thing that rises up inside us that goes something like this. It shouldn't be this way. If God is the King of Kings, why isn't He doing something about this? Why do I feel so persecuted for my faith? Depending on where you live, perhaps there's nothing new in any of this. Or if, like me, you live in a place that's historically encouraged and accepted the Christian voice, maybe this rising tide of persecution comes as a shock, hence that feeling of the big squeeze. But it shouldn't come as any surprise at all. As Paul wrote to Timothy 2,000 years ago, everyone who wants to live showing true devotion to God in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. People who are evil and cheat others will become worse and worse. They will fool others, but they also are fooling themselves. Did you pick that? Everyone, no exceptions. If you're devoted to Christ, you will be persecuted. And that bit about things becoming worse and worse sure feels that way, doesn't it? But here's the good news. Those evil people, they're kidding themselves. Remember, your King is still on His throne. That's His word, fresh for you today. It's under pressure that coal is turned into diamonds, amen? So if you're feeling that big squeeze, I'd love to send you a free copy of our latest life application booklet. It's called The Grace Transformation. To request yours, stop by at christianityworks.com and you'll see that free offer right there towards the top of the homepage. Again, that's Christianity Works.
Je, ushawahi kuweka jambo kwenye mizani? Ushawahi kupata uzito wake? Haya basi, usitapetape zaidi. Naomba unigande, maana mizani ipo hapa kwa ajili yako.
Vyakula na mbegu za kitamaduni.
Na kutuliza fikra na kukuwezesha kupima masuala ibuka katika jamii. Tena kwa busara. Tukutane mizani kila Ijumaa saa 1 machweo kwenye runinga ya Hope TV.
Watu wa Mungu, Be the vocalist hapa, and I'm just here to give you a testament. I am a living testimony of the slogan of Hope FM, where they say, listen and live. I am such a serious testimony and a testament to that a statement, because they have impacted my life big time. And imagine ile kitu wanauliza ni ati the way they have impacted my life and your life. Tunaweza jaribu pia to spread hii kitu mpaka huko mashinani, to spread hii word ya God huko mashinani. And the only thing they're requesting us to do is just contribute 100 bob. We just become partners with them. Na unapatana tu na bob moja. Lakini pia kama una feel uko philanthropic sana, unaweza piga jil 2. Twende hivyo, eh? All right? And so they are calling it 100 for 1, where you just give out 100 bob and they can reach out to another soul. And of course mnauliza, okay, tuko na iso tunatuma wapi? Iso tunatuma via M-Pesa na tuko na P-bill number. P-bill number yetu ni 933 933. Alafu hapo kwa account name, all right? Andika tu FOH, yani Friends of Hope. Alafu tuma ile kitu natuma Hapo mbele ni pin number yako na ni siri yako. Alafu tu ushamaliza hii kitu. Click on the send. Na imagine utakuwa umefanya kitu moja serious sana. We as Hope Media tutakuwa tumereach out to one soul. God bless you. Be eaten.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Mtoto gani katika hii ulimwengu ameitwa Mungu mkuu?
Nasema akasema udhu billahi.
Hata leo usisema udhu billahi, tafadhali usikize.
Yesu ndiye njia. Uchambuzi wa masuala tata katika Biblia na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
We don't believe that Christ was crucified. Christ was taken right to heaven by 4 angels, 4 archangels.
Kama Muhammad ndiye alikuwa wa kwanza kuleta dini ya Kiislamu na alikuja after Jesus, sasa inawezekanaje Ibrahimu awe Muislamu, Musa awe Muislamu?
Yesu ndiye njia. Jadala wa moja kwa moja kati ya walimu wa Kikristo na dini zingine.
Wanasema Mwenyezi Mungu ana mtoto. Jambo hilo wanasema limeleta jambo ambalo linachukiza.
Siri ya Mungu ambaye Mungu amejidhihirisha katika mili. Hii yote ni ukafiri.
Mumefanya makosa makubwa sana kusema kwamba Isa ibn Maryam ni Mungu wa pili na Allah ambaye ameumba mbingu na ardhi mkasema ni Mungu wa tatu.
Yesu ndiye njia. Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
Kwa majina mimi ni Roberto Wanyonyi. Mimi ni mzaliwa wa Kitale hapo Matunda Mosbridge. Na mimi nimekuwa fan wa Hope kuanzia 2007 wakati Anthony Ndiema alikuanga pale kwa studio. So nilijua Hope FM tu. Kulikuwa na msichana ambapo saizi ni marehemu, because sasa yeye ndiye alikuwa na time ya kusikiliza hiyo mchana, ndio pia sisi tukaanza kusikilizia hapo, sababu ilikuwa ni hiyo kipindi cha Shangilia. So tukawa hapo, nikawa fan kuanzia 2007. Nikakuja pia nikaja Nairobi 2011. Nakumbuka kulikuwa na asubuhi kina Rota Kidula na nini, alikuwa Justus Owaka ndio alikuanga hiyo morning. So bahati mbaya nikaamka tu hivi asubuhi nikienda kazini, nilikuwa na duka. So kuingia kwa duka hivi, kufungua duka, kuprepare tu vile tu unaelewa kazi ya duka vile inakuanga, bahati mbaya nikafamiwa na wakora. Kibahati mbaya ambapo pia ni bahati nzuri, sababu nashukuru Mungu niko mzima. Nilipigwa risasi ya spine. So hiyo risasi ikacross, ikatoka nilipigwa na right, ikacross ikakuja left, ambapo niko nayo saizi almost 7 years. Bado haijatolewa sababu walisema haiwezi kutolewa. So hapo nikakimbizwa kwa hospitali. Sasa ikawa pia bado tu ni sasa nikiwa kwa hospitali nikawa siwezi tena kusikiliza hiyo station, lakini rafiki yangu akaja akanibaia simu. Kwa simu nikaanza kusikiliza tena Hope FM, hiyo simu ambayo nilinunua na rafiki yangu. Sasa wakati nilikuwa nasikiliza Hope FM, nakumbuka nilisikiliza karibu mwaka moja kama niko kwa hospitali. So wakati nilikuwa nasikiliza, ambapo nilikuwa ninaamuka na Hope FM, hiyo worship hour niko Hope FM, kipindi cha Shangilia niko Hope FM, Route 104 niko Hope FM, Breath of Heaven niko Hope FM. Mtu unatune kutoka wapi? Because kuna wale wanatune kutoka Kitale, kuna wale wanatune kutoka Nairobi, kuna wale hata wale wanatune kama wako nje ya Kenya, wengine wako Saudi. So tukawa tunatune tu hivyo, kila mtu anasema mahali penye anatune. So mi nikawa huwa natune nikiwa KNH, na mostly nilikuwa naandika tu KNH woti 4C kila siku, KNH woti 4C. Hata kama ni hiyo asubuhi, hata kama ni hiyo ushipu hour, hata kama ni Shangilia, kila wakati ninatune tu nikiwa KNH 44C. So tukapandana na dada moja anaitwa Milia Chero. Hiyo time alikuwa kwa Saudi Arabia. So akaniulizia sana kujua ni nini nafanyanga hapo KNH. Mimi ninafanya kazi hapo ama ni nini, sababu kila mara anaonanga uchumba wangu nina tune nikiwa KNH. Nikaambia Milia, hapana, mimi niliumizwa na wakora. So pia yani kumweleza ikawa ni painful story. Na sasa sababu alikuwa mbali, akatuma rafiki yake anaitwa Etimbogo. Na huyu alikuja akanitembelea. Sasa nikawa namjua.
Welcome to the Dialogue KE. Now tonight on the Dialogue KE, I'm joined by a true icon of Kenya's second liberation, Reverend Timothy Njoya, to help us dissect this whole matter on the state of the nation. Karibu sana, Reverend.
Thank you very much.
Rev, I know you are a retired cleric. We were having a discussion earlier on before the show began, and you told me that you are a house husband. What have you been doing since?
Yes, when I retired, when men retired, they said, I'm going to come at Juakari. They went and sat down, ate, slept, and very few lived more than 2 years. They died of atrophy, senility. They rotted. They didn't live long because nothing the body is more than endurance or resonance, staying idle. Yeah. So for me, when I retired, I said I'm going to become a house husband.
So because
because I knew in my home, women, housewives, do cultivate coffee, tea, milk cows, look after children, and therefore they live in Kenya between 21 and 31 years longer than men. That activity keeps their bodies alive. So I wanted to live as long as women. I am now 82 and I have 56 more years to live.
56 more years?
Yes.
That's amazing. I mean, many people are watching right now. They are young Kenyans and they do not actually relate with the struggle that you went through. But there is actually a section of Kenyans who actually identify the difficult period of the second liberation. I mean, what really motivated you then?
I should have begun not by the question of what I did when I retired. I should have begun where Jesus began and ended and left me to continue. Jesus, when he left in the world, he said, he sent his disciples to go into all the world and make all nations his disciples. When I had never experienced, since I was born, even my parents, Kenya being a nation, they experienced Kenya being a market. So there was no nation to make a disciple of Jesus Christ in Kenya or in Africa because we were all European overseas markets. Kenya in 1888, Imperial British Company were given a charter by Queen Victoria because Britain didn't want to colonize Kenya. It thought it was a wasteland full of the worthless property, full of hostile tribes. So the Free Church of Scotland, of which the members of the Ibea William McKinnon belonged, being Ibea, an evangelistic, a church evangelistic company. So it came and started in Kenya and got a charter to govern Kenya and to rule Kenya according to the principles which they governed Kenya of the market. So now, and now when I was born, or since the internet, Kenya was governed as a market. When Ibea ran bankrupt, they sold Kenya for 250 million pounds to various British, to the colonial office. It ran it as a market and very profitably until 1920 when the British saw it can be run and it regretted and withdrew its charter without revoking it. It disregarded the Victoria Charter and it declared Kenya a colony and protected. You remember 1920? So Kenya was not a colony until 1920. What was it before? A market. See, they did not transform Kenya. A colony is a market still, where people are traded with. So, and when Queen Victoria took over from Queen Elizabeth, so she continued with Kenya as an inheritance, as a market. When she passed on to Kenyatta inherited from Queen Victoria Kenya as a market. So Kenya politicians, including presidents, and they are slave trading companies. They are slave traders. All Kenya traders, all Kenya's politicians, all Kenya politicians are slave traders. They trade with us. Their interest is what they get, money, all those things, by trading with our votes and with our numbers. So I'm saying that my work, when I was called to become a church minister, a cleric, a kasisi, was to transform Kenya from a market
to a nation.
Into a nation. Have we succeeded by the Kenya Constitution 2021 to transform Kenya from a market into a nation? We removed the Lancaster Constitution, which was actually a charter, a repeat of the 1888 charter, but written and handed over, instead of being handed over to William McKinnon, it was handed over to Kenyatta to, I want to give you 3 words, to maintain 3 words, which were the ethos and the principles and the spirit of the Kenya Constitution, Lancaster, 3 words. To maintain the stability, the continuity, and the profitability of Kenya as a British overseas market. So we tried to change Kenya from a market and now threw away the Lancaster Constitution, which was a charter given to Kenyatta and his henchmen to continue ruling Kenya as a British overseas market, but now as their market. Now, what you are asking me is what have I fulfilled the commission of Jesus Christ to make Kenya
a nation?
His disciple. You cannot make a market Jesus' disciple. So you have first of all transformed Kenya from a market into a nation so that you obey Jesus Christ's command. Make all nations my disciples. So my work is to make Kenya a nation, and in order to make it a disciple of Jesus, people who respect each other's sovereignty, who love one another as they love God, people who relate one another as equal and sovereign. And now therefore we wrote the Constitution.
Now, Rev, you struggled for Kenya to actually have a new constitution, and in 2010, it was actually promulgated.
They praised the charter, the British charter to Kenyatta, to make Kenya to continue with the stability and the continuity and profitability of Kenya as a market, not as a nation. Even Kenyatta knew this. He said, his cliche was, let us build the nation. From what? And with what? You cannot build, you cannot have a political party. All Kenyan politicals are trading, slave traders, slave trading companies. You cannot make a Kanu, head of Kanu to build a nation. Even today, politicians are marketing people to 2 biggest slave trading companies today. What are they? It was Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. These are the ones trading, to whom politicians are trading with us.
So, in short, you mean that this is not the Kenya that you envisioned for as you fought for the...
No, it's the lack of... I'm not formed time. I would like now to transform Kenya politicians and the political parties to be consistent with the Kenya Constitution, to follow the Kenya, to obey the Kenya Constitution, which defines people as sovereign, not as commodities. But now we are being traded with as commodities. profitable commodities.
Is it the reason why you say that never trust an animal called a politician?
Yes, I should have said a slave trader. You know, because they are trading with the Imagine you go to parliament and you become a millionaire overnight. I counted 1988. 1988. I counted the number of politicians and constitutions in Kenya. We divided the money the politicians got within 5 years. About 2.04 billion, or about that. No company other than being a politician made as much money within 5 years. Only Microsoft. Kenyans make more money by being politicians than companies that sell TVs. Even they make more money than Safaricom by just being politicians. And therefore, if you count how much, whether by corruption, whether by auctioneering, whether by trading with a license or selling wafers, Kenyan politicians make more money by being politicians than Microsoft.
But you see, Reverend, these politicians are actually put into power by Kenyans. So could you say that Kenyans are actually...
They are traded with. That's why I call them commodities. They are commoditized. When we go to vote, let me tell you the first voters. We are voting for 8 MPs, 1956 elections, for each MP representing a province. If you read, I can show you it is here in my telephone. The voters were voted because they were given a license to vote or paper, permit to vote for loyalism, for being royalists and helping the British government to defeat the Mau Mau. Those are the people who voted. You could not stand for elections if you were not a royalist. The first elections in which was given internal self-government. You know, the first Madaraka Day, the Madaraka government was given to royalists by the governor. Yes.
Well, Rev, right now we have a supremacy battle between the judiciary, the executive, and the parliament. We're actually seeing the president actually threatening to disobey court orders.
This constitution is not theirs. The Rankasa constitution is still their constitution. They have not shifted. Didn't you see BBI? Bringing the back door, looking through the back, through the window, through the back door. They were quoted for by the Constitutional Court, the Joya case. Because the chapter 1 to 6 is actual constitution of my theory. So I'm saying they should have said the Joya theory rather than, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm a theorist, I'm a believer, I'm a doctrinaire. I make doctrines. That's my work as a theologian, to formulate various texts of the Bible into communicable sense. So I'm saying, what you are talking about, people not following the constitution, it is not theirs yet. Kenya is their market. If you have to transform these politicians in the state to follow the Kenya constitution, Kenya would become a nation. We are in the process of being a nation. But ask me, don't blame people for being commoditized. Don't blame the victim for being victimized. Like we blame women for being raped, don't we? That's why they are not able to report rape, because they'll get stigmatized. They will be called prostitutes. They will be blamed for being raped. What about the rapists? What are they called? They are not called prostitutes. They are not called those bad names. Whom do we stigmatize for being raped? They raped. You see, so when we blame the voters for voting, for being given unga, being given 200 shillings to vote by somebody, to vote for them, being their followers, how many people are money are given? I'm in Gong, that's where I live. People are being given money to come for Mandamano to Horo Park, 200 shillings each, and they accept because they have no other things to do by the organizers. So I'm saying, if you are traded with, you cannot be blamed for going to throw stones. Would you be? I'm asking you, have you ever thrown stones?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
How much money were you given? Just confess. I know you are saved.
I've thrown stones, but not in demonstrations.
Yeah?
Not in demonstrations.
No, I mean, have you been given money?
To throw stones?
Yes.
No, I've never.
But you know, people don't throw stones for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you actually don't blame the voters?
I don't blame the stone throwers.
Uh-huh.
I would like the police to kill them or to brutalize them. I wouldn't like those who break windows. I don't like. They have already demoralized. They have suffered morally.
Yeah.
They have been dehumanized. They have been commoditized.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not defending them to do evil, but I'm saying they are evilized. They are made evil.
Uh-huh.
They are commoditized. They are made property.
Yeah.
For being traded with. For what? For power. For money. Because those people who trade with them, I told you how much they make more money than Safaricom within 5 years when they are in parliament.
Uh-huh.
By what they did and what they correct and how much they are given, commissions, all those money. If you I counted in myself how much I said Kenyans, politicians were making more money in 1988 than Microsoft.
Yeah. And Rev, I know you're a retired cleric, but actually the religious leaders are also, can we also say that they're also part of the problem? Because many of these politicians during the elections were coming into churches and...
Religious leaders are brokers. Yeah. How much money are we given in the church by politicians to become their brokers, to reach them, to access the people? And I'm saying, the Christians don't come to church to worship. They come to look for and to access their market. And who are their brokers? They are pastors. So if you are politicians, notice a politician there and tell him to stand and talk. You count how much he is going to gain as a broker. You cannot do that for nothing. I don't know any minister, church minister, or clergyman or priest who does welcome politicians to his church for nothing.
So they're all brokers?
They are all brokers, those who do that. Yeah.
Some will argue that these politicians are actually members of the church and you just have to give them a platform.
Do you give all members of the church platform when they enter the church? Do you? You read them into worship. They came to worship. They didn't come for brokerage, for salesmanship. You are selling the members to slave traders. You are trading with your congregation for benefit, for profit. And actually that Kenyatta was given a Rankas Constitution, which was written by Mackenzie of Lancaster University, a draft which they discussed in Lancaster for 3 times, written to guarantee Britain that Kenya will remain a stable, and will continue and remain a stable overseas market. And it remained, and when Kenyatta was given, instead of being paid reparation, he was given 63 billion pounds to come and buy land from the white settlers. You know, the Maasai people, when that was given, they led by Oretepes and Kochera. They stormed out and came back to Kenya. They left only 10 Maasai delegates left when they saw their land was being being traded with. They refused to stay to the head of the. I know other people who walked out. The 2 Somali delegates walked out because they knew there was no chance of regaining because they wanted secession. You see, so I'm not supposing secession, but they should have been allowed to negotiate for being Kenyans if they were to be suffering, even in Kenya. But they were not allowed the voice to negotiate. Therefore, they were treated as shifter. And therefore, when I preached here at St. Andrews, against the Magamana massacre in 1984. You know what they did? I got to the people in Garissa, and I went there also to during Kenyatta's to commemorate the Wagara massacre. Men came from Garissa to bring me 2 ladies as a gift to hire to Jamhuri. 2 ladies as a gift. And I was very, very happy, given I have 2, 3 wives now, because my wife was in Mozambique. She used to become I was very happy. I tell them, this is very happy. But the problem is that my wife is already 7 wives, and you don't have more than 4. It's already enough.
Yeah.
So, you see, the question is, but I didn't reject their gift. But I said that I don't want a human, we are equal with them. I believe in the equality of men. And I preach to them that when God created Adam, He created them as one person, male and female. You get me?
Yeah.
And He gave them equal authority to govern the earth, to govern the birds of the air, the ships, the fish of the sea, and to govern everything, and to govern the garden. Only not to eat the forbidden tree. But I said that since the rule was given, the sovereignty was given to both men and women. Where did the man gain the sovereignty? From sin, by eating the forbidden fruit. Otherwise, they were created equal. And God said, let the man leave his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and they become one, because they are equal. You get me? So when I preach a new constitution and a new dispensation, what do I mean? I mean reclaiming our God-given sovereignty from the market. You get me? From the rulers. We are supposed to rule and govern ourselves. We are sovereign. This is why we do universal suffrage, to go and... you told me, first of all, you have not asked the question you told me here to come and see. I'm not... You are already getting... I want to get there quickly, because now we are talking about things that distract us from being a nation. Yeah.
Last year we actually saw the
Now you are telling me to talk not about the state of the nation, but the state of Ruto and Raila. They are not the nation. The government is not the judiciary is not the nation. The parliament is not they are organs. They are organs of governance. You understand?
Yeah.
The organs through which they are paid by the people because people are the owners of the nation. They are the nation. The nation is the people.
Yeah.
These people, you are asking me, you have regarded them as the nation, but actually they are robbers of the nation from the people. They are the ones who have stolen, they are slave traders. They trade with us. That's why they get power. They don't trade with us for us to be rich like them. They don't trade us for us to be wealthier, because, you know, for them, they are dynasties. Dynasty from Queen Victoria to Queen Elizabeth, from Queen Elizabeth to Kenyatta, and from Kenyatta to Moi and so forth, and Moi to Ruto and to Raila and to Kibaki. All these are dynasties. They are dynasties of the British Empire. So all I'm asking you, not dynasties of Kenya. So I'm asking, Kenya does not have dynasties. Dynasties are not born by voters. They are born by the British. They root from 1888, when Victoria gave Kenya a company, a charter, to govern Kenya as a British overseas, and we are trying to transform it into a nation even now. So don't ask me about dynasties.
So do you mean that...
Ask me about me and you. Are we dynasties?
So what is the state of the nation according to you?
The state of the nation is that we are ruta continua. We are still in the process. We are still in the process of achieving what Jesus commissioned us to do. That's why I wanted to begin, but you asked me other questions. Jesus commissioned us to make all nations his disciples, people who love God as themselves, who love themselves as God with all their heart and mind, and love each other, not tribes. But Jesus did not come to tell, even he did not say it's not bad, it's bad to be a Jew or a Greek or a Roman, but he came to make all these inclusive, so that all people may love one another. Yeah. So I'm here not to tell tribes to disband or political parties to disband, or Ruto to disband himself. I'm only telling him to be inclusive of Raila. That's what, to be inclusive of all Kenyans. Be inclusive of all Kenyans. I'm not telling Raila not to be Raila, but I'm telling Raila to be inclusive of all Kenyans, not to fight against or struggle with any or compete with any, for what? For money, but money as people. And for what? For power as people. But people owe their power not from them, but from God. We are given this country by God, and this country is us. This nation is all of us. And I beg you to agree that you are the nation. Me and you, we are the nation.
You are the nation.
We are the nation.
Yeah. But
not the politicians, not the political party, not the state, not the judiciary, not the parliament. These are our instruments of governance. They are our tools of governance. And our tools cannot dictate to their maker. We are their God. You and I. They cannot come and dictate to their maker how to behave. It is us, their maker, just as we cannot dictate to God, our maker, what to tell us. They cannot dictate to us or tell us what to do. They have to ask us what we want them to do. That's what I call sovereignty. That's what I call freedom. That's what I call humanity. I like somebody called Augustine. St. Augustine said that the chief head of man, he said man, but he meant humanity. The chief head of humanity is to serve God, and he serve and one and other people, and in serving him, enjoy God. Yeah. We are ultimately who we are, head in themselves. You get that? That's what I share with these. They believe that they don't say we owe ourselves to God. That's the difference. But they say we are sovereign. We are inherited. Even Karl Marx said that we are born with the rights to be human, to govern ourselves, not to be owned and ruled by the bourgeoisie or anyone else.
So you've actually said that.
And he said that's why he talked about a stateless society. State is a creature of the people for governing themselves. I'm not saying we can have a stateless society, just as I can say a farmer can do without a panga. And I cannot say a farmer can do without a panga or a jebe. You know what the state is? All judiciary and parliament and all these politicians, they are majebe. They are our pangas. They cannot come and cut us because they are our tools. I know farmers can cut themselves and wood themselves.
And are the tools working for the benefit of Kenyans?
Not at the moment. Not visibly.
According to you, what is not really working well?
What is not working is that we are dictating the people what we want them to have, not asking them what they want to have. Not asking them, what do you want to have? What do you want? That's why we put in the Constitution that public participation. You understand?
Yeah.
So that we govern people by their own will, the will of the people, not the will of the panga and the jebe and the car to take us where it wants.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to use tools to help us, not for tools to use us. We don't want to become the dog which is swung by its own, wagged by its own tail.
Yeah.
We want to wag the state. And the state is three things. It's the executive, judiciary, and the parliament. We want to be them to behave like tools in our own hearts, not us in their hearts. Yes.
And you've said that actually Kenya is in the process.
We're in the process. But when 1920, when we adopted the new constitution, we adopted the charter of being British Overseas Market, which was ranked as a constitution. But Ken's document, we wrote our own document for who we want to be and define ourselves.
Yeah.
And we wrote it in the first pass. In the very first, we are the God. Because we are under God, and we are creating a state to be under us. Do you see the similarity? We are under
God.
We are God's creature, and the state is our creature. We cannot let the creature to govern its gods, and we are its gods.
So as you conclude, what should Kenyans do to actually
be able to be sensible, not to be marketable, not to be sellable to anybody, not to be bought by any money or by any promise of any kind. To tell them not to promise us, to tell them to ask us what we want. That's what we want. That's what we should demand. Tell us, ask our views. Ask
the views of
before
Kenyans.
You do something, make your own garrow poll and ask where we are and what we want. Yes.
Okay, what's your parting shot as we conclude? What's your parting shot as we finish?
That to tell people that to obey they are God's creation. And when whoever is in Christ is a new creation. I want them to be not only God's creation, old one. I want them to be new people, being God's new creation, and to know that until they are that new God's creation, it's almost impossible to serve God's interest, to serve God's will. And we all pray and tell them, anytime they pray, that will be done on us as it is in heaven. To know only a nation can do God's will. And people, nation, is a Latin word meaning born together. NATO, clinics are called unto NATO, where children are born. We are called a nation because we are born by one mother. The nation, I don't know who the mother is, but I know our parent is God.
Yeah.
I will sometimes be like to pray, our mother who is at heaven, hallowed be thy name, because we are children of God. When we say God, we are children of God, we don't ask ourselves that God does not have gender. So he is also a mother. So I want to tell Kenyans passing short. When they respect God, they are respecting their mothers, and they are respecting their honor like father and mother as you honor God. Because these are the God's way. We were born, we came into this world. And I'm saying that when I meet you, I know I'm meeting myself, a reflection of likeness with God. Doesn't the Bible say that? God created us in his own
likeness.
I'm meeting a likeness of God, a reflection of God, and therefore to respect you is to respect God.
All right. I guess that's a very good point to end our discussion tonight. Many thanks, Rev, for making time for us. That has been Reverend Timothy Njoya, a true icon of Kenya's second liberation. Many thanks to you also for making time for us, and to the whole team that made this broadcast a success. Have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Ken Kimani, and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation has been Boniface Moriti.